Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Test 1 2. Make sure y'all could hear me. Welcome in, man. Welcome in. Welcome to the FGC Simplified Federal Government Contracting Live. As I mentioned, we're going to start this off once a week. We're going to try to do this once a week so I can give you the information. I can give you what it is that we do in this federal government contracting space. So you can be able to either copy what I do, copy my homework, or do what I do to be able to get into this space and take action. So, again, we're going to do this live at least once a week. I'll be coming on live to show you how I work off of my solicitations, how I get into this space, what I think about, and what we actually teach inside of this space too as well. For those that have always wanted to get into federal government contracting, always wanted to see what it's like to be in this space, this is what we do. So, as I mentioned, this is part of our system that we've created to teach people to get started in this federal government contracting space, what to look for, what to understand, and how we actually view this space. So if you're tuning in live, make sure and drop in the comments for me. Make sure and drop in the comments where you're watching from. Make sure you let me know in the comments too as well. Make sure you like and subscribe. Because if I'm coming across your platform, your algorithm, obviously you wanted to know more about federal government contracting, what it's like to get started in this space. So as I mentioned, we're going to go through maybe a few solicitations on what we look for, how we analyze it, and then how we're able to fulfill these federal government contracting on what the federal government is asking for and give them what they want so we can be able to earn an income in this space from this federal government contracting. So if this is your first time coming across my content, first time coming across my channel, I am Coach Jay with the FGC Simplified Community, and I teach entrepreneurs and business owners how to get started in this world of federal government contracting. We specialize in the middleman strategy, meaning we're able to find the need of the federal government, and then we're able to pair that with a local business or a local subcontractor that has the ability, the capability, the equipment, the manpower in order to fulfill what the federal government is asking for. We have simplified the process on what it will take for you to get started in this federal government contracting space. So we continue to share this content so you can put some of your anxiousness at ease, so you can get into this space and take action. The goal in what we do is in order for you to take action to get started and get successful in this space. All right. I see we got Maryland in the building. Welcome in. Welcome in. Now, if you are new to federal government contracting too as well, let me know in the chat. If you're watching the replays, let me know in the chat too as well. We are having our 3-day live virtual workshop coming up. It's going to be executed May 29th through the 31st. So if you want to be able to learn the process as we teach it, so you can be successful in this space, I highly recommend that you join in the workshop so you can get this actual started, okay? All right, so let's just jump on in. So this actual solicitation or opportunity was sent to me by one of our members that's inside of our community for us to actually review together. They are new to this space and they want to know how it is that they can actually get into this space and be able to look at these solicitations to be able to go after. So for those that are joining me on any other platform, or if you're watching the replay, we are live on YouTube too as well. So on YouTube, if you want to be able to see my screen, see what I share too as well, if you're on any other platform, jump on over to YouTube. So you'll be able to see what it is that we're talking about. If not, just enjoy the audio. And if you have questions, make sure and drop it in the chat too as well. All right. So let's take a look at the solicitation that we're looking at. So this is the one that was sent to me. It's for boiler removal and installation. We concentrate and we tell everyone The beauty of the middleman strategy as it pertains to federal government contracting, you do not have to have an expertise and a specialization in any type of solicitation that you come across. You don't have to have experience in this space. If you're looking at this one here that is talking about boiler removal and installation, you don't have to ever replace a boiler in your life or even know what a boiler is in order for you to give the federal government what they want. The federal government now has a need to replace and remove an actual boiler. And this is what we're going to fulfill for the federal government. And I'm going to show you how we actually do this. We're going to show you how we actually do this. So let's take a look and see what it is exactly that they're asking for. So this is what we teach inside of our community and inside of our program on how we identify an opportunity and if we're actually going to pursue it or not. So when we bring up a solicitation or an opportunity, as we can see, it says it's for boiler removal and installation. That off the bat gives me an indication or an idea right away what it is the federal government is asking for. I know it sounds self-explanatory, but we can take a look and see on the actual opportunity what it is that they want. They want boiler installation. One thing that I pay attention to while I'm looking at these opportunities, I want to make sure that it does say active right here. I want to make sure that the opportunity and the time that I'm investing in these solicitation, that it's not going to waste, that it's not going for naught. You know, sometimes SAM.gov or any other procurement website, there's sometimes a lag between when the federal government updates their information from the time that you are actually viewing the solicitation. So I want you, if you're watching this, again, pay attention to these little key things that will save you time and effort when you're going through. Just make sure that it says active. If you see a little green dot, you know that it is good to go. All right. So on any opportunity, on any solicitation that you come across, the federal government will give you documentation on these information telling you what it is that they really want. I want you to understand this, that if the federal government is putting out a need or request, they are also going to give you the details on that information. They're going to tell you what it is they want. They're going to say where they want it, and they're going to let you know how they want it to be actually fulfilled. So don't be alarmed if you look at a solicitation and you don't understand the jargon. That is not how the federal government operates, especially when it comes to federal government contracting. They're going to make it extremely clear for you in order for you to fulfill what the federal government wants. That is like you having an issue at home and you're not giving the full details to the person that you're contacting in order for them to help you. It's the same thing when it comes to the federal government. They are going to make it crystal clear on what they want and how they actually want it to be fulfilled. So don't be alarmed by this. The only prerequisite as it pertains to federal government contracting is that you have to have the ability to read and comprehend. As long as you can read and comprehend, you can do federal government contracting. All right. So let's take a look at the documents. And again, I'm going to show you. So we know right off the bat that they are looking for boiler replacement. And for those that are tuning in on any other platform, if you want to see the screen, see what we're talking about, we are over here on YouTube Live. If you're watching the replay, make sure and like and subscribe. So anytime we go live, you can be able to ask questions and actually see this, because my goal is to give you valuable content that you can be able to take action with. Watch the replay, take action with, and get started in this space. All right. So let's open these documents so we can see what are the requirements to replace and remove this installation of this boiler. So I'm showing you what we teach inside of our community and what we show you how to actually fulfill what it is the federal government was wanting. So we have the documentation open, and as we can see, we can scroll through this documentation, and what we're looking for is the information that the federal government is going to give us on what it is they actually want. So again, I'm going to point out and highlight to you how clear and concise the federal government is. I'm trying to dismiss some of the myths that's out there that the federal government is going to make it difficult on purpose. That is not true. The federal government has a need, and they have thousands of needs that the federal government is actually trying to fulfill. So they're going to make it as clear and as easy for us to fulfill that need that they want. So we can see here, this is what is called a continuation sheet, as you can see, and they're looking to remove an existing boiler and install it according to the statement of work. So they want to know the price from you on what it will cost to remove and replace an existing boiler system. So now they're giving you here the information. This is what is called the statement of work. And in the statement of work is exactly what it sounds like. The federal government asking you to provide to them this particular product or service. So in this instance, it's for a boiler installation, as we can see. So now we get into the details right here. The Navy Construction Battalion, and again, they give you a little history so you can know which department of the federal government is asking for it and what you are going to be able to provide to them. So they have a 1,100-acre U.S. industrial complex, and now they are looking for this. This description of requirements states that the contractor, the person who's going to fulfill it, will be able to furnish all the materials, equipment, supervision to remove an existing Hertz boiler and water feed system located at building 385 and install a new one. And now they're telling you to install a new one. So right off the bat, and again, this example is to show you what we look at when we're actually looking at a solicitation to fulfill. Right off the bat, the federal government has painted a clear picture for me to let me know that they have one boiler, that a Hertz boiler. They have, and they want us to remove an existing Hertz boiler and water field system and replace it with a new Hertz boiler and water feed system. Right off the bat, they're giving me this information. And again, the only prerequisite is to be able to read and comprehend. So I know coming into this opportunity, I am looking for a business, a small business, a local subcontractor that has experience, who has worked on Hertz water filters, water boilers. They're looking for someone to replace that with that information. So I know right off the bat, who am I going to look after? But they give us some more details. So they want us to install one new one, as you can see, a fire tube Scotch marine steam boiler. It's going to be 150 psi design pressure, according to and equipped with an oil fire burner and a Hertz water feeder tank. And they want it to be tied into the existing fuel gas line. Boom. So right off the information that we're getting, we know what it is that the federal government wants, and we know how and where they want it to be delivered to. We know that it's at the Navy Industrial Complex, located in Gulfport, Mississippi. So we have answered a couple of questions just off of a few minutes of looking at this opportunity or this solicitation. We know what it is the federal government wants. They want a boiler to be replaced. We have the brand name, and we know the type of boiler they have and the type of boiler that they wanted to be replaced with. And then we actually know where it is that they want it to be done. They wanted to know where it is that they want it to be done. It's at the Naval Industrial Complex in Gulfport, Mississippi. So right off the bat, I have the answer to two questions: what they want and where they want it to be completed. And third of all, they're now telling me when the operation of this replacement needs to be done. The work will be performed during core business hours between 7 o'clock and 1600 p.m. So again, these are things that I need to pay attention to. So when I am reaching out to local businesses and local subcontractors to get a quote, this is the information that I'm going to provide to them. Because if you have ever been in this space, you know that you may get a different price if they have to come out on the weekends, if they have to come out after hours. So knowing this up front will give me a clear picture when I start reaching out to subcontractors and other businesses to actually do the work. Because remember, we are performing and we're perfecting what we call the middleman strategy as it pertains to federal government contracting. We are not attempting to go out and physically do the work because you may not know how to replace a boiler, but you are able to find a business or a local subcontractor that has the know-how, the ability, the manpower to fulfill it. Okay? So they give you clarification on what days are considered the holidays. And we're just looking at the information and the documentation that they're giving us. Okay. So they're giving you the type of vehicles and all of that information is included. And then we start getting into what exactly they want. Okay. So they want a boiler and stuff to be replaced. We got the information. We got where they want. Now we have to find the actual subcontractor that is actually going to do the work. So in federal government contracting and the way we teach it, it's broken up it into segmented parts that you are able to work on and perfect as you increase your craft in this space. One, understanding what it is that the federal government wants. We show you right now how we're able to look at the documentation to determine what it is that they want. Now we need to find out, because we are not going to do the physical work, we need to find a local business, a local subcontractor on how and where they're actually going to perform this. So we know that it's going to be in Gulfport, Mississippi. So let's do that. Let's do that. Let's find someone that is able to do it. So this is a question that I get all the time. How do we find a local business that's able to do this work? We simply use Google. So we can jump back over to our Google. And I guess everybody has access to Google. Everybody knows how to do Google. And we're looking for boiler replacement. So let's look for that. Boiler replacement in Mississippi. Let's do it. Now, why there are so many different ways and so many different things that we use. But I rather, and I recommend that you use Google, because one, Google is the go-to search engine out there for any type of service or business that anyone is looking for. And I understand that people pay to be ranked on Google. They pay to be seen on Google. So if I'm looking for businesses that has the capability to do the work, why not go to the place where I'm able to find this information? So as we can see, just by putting in this information, I have now listing of all of these companies that's in the area. McCain Engineering, I can see that they do boiler repair, boiler rentals. They do boiler replacements too as well. I have MS Society. They do boiler and stuff. So I now have a list of all of these opportunities, all of these small businesses that is able to actually do the work that the federal government is asking for. So now it's simply me reaching out to them to request an actual quote. How can I request a quote from them? Well, because I have the information that the federal government is looking for. I have what they want. I have the information of the type of boiler and all of that information. And I have that information. So what I would do, I would simply reach out to them. So let's say we're going to use Muse Heating and Air Conditioning. I'm going to reach out to them and I'm going to simply ask them for a quote based off of the information that the federal government has provided to me. Listen, I'm trying to get a quote to have the installation of one 150 psi Hertz fire tube start. So seeing that I have the information that the federal government has or a pre-installed Hertz boiler system, and they're wanting to have it replaced with the same thing, that is my first question off my bat. Once I give them a call, I'm asking them, hey, I'm looking to get a quote on a Hertz boiler installation. Do you work on Hertz boilers? That's the question we're asking, because we want to get that information off the bat, because our goal is to give the federal government what they're actually looking for. If they're looking for a particular brand, a particular service, then I am going to actually give them that information. All right. So now I'm on the phone with the local business and with the local subcontractor, and I'm giving them the information. I'm trying to get a quote from you in order to install a 100 psi Hertz marine steam boiler. That's the information I'm giving to them. And based off of, and again, this is still the document that we have from the federal government, we can see that the federal government is going to provide, they're going to provide the new boiler. They're providing the new boiler and also the new feed water tank. So the quote that I'm getting from my subcontractor, from my small business, is only the labor cost to install what it is the federal government is asking for. So these are things that we need to understand when we're looking at our solicitation and we're looking at the documentation, because the federal government will give us all this information. They will let us know if they're providing the boiler, or do we need to provide a price for the boiler and then the installation. That is the key portion. And again, all of that information will be listed in the documentation. They're going to let you know the description of the item, the description of the service, what is your responsibility as the person that's doing the installation. All of that information will be included in this documentation. You just have to understand how it is to read it and comprehend, so you can translate that information to the subcontractor so you can get an accurate quote. All right. So once we give them that information, there is going to be a dialogue between me and the contract officer, me and the subcontractor, the one that I'm requesting the quote from, because there are some information that they're going to ask me based off of their experience of doing boiler replacement. If they're asking me what's the area around it, I come to the dimensions here in the documentation and I give them that response. If they're looking for what is the responsibility, what time frame do I have it done, or this is a big one that comes up, especially when it is a service-based contract that's going on. Is there a site visit? Is there an opportunity for us to actually go out and see the location so we can provide you with an accurate quote? And there is one that's listed in the documentation. There is a site visit that will be occurring on May 29th. Remember, this solicitation that we're looking at is a live solicitation. It's a live solicitation that's right now, that was sent to me by one of our community members for us to review, to let you see through the lens of a contract specialist, the one that does this as a day-to-day basis. So you can see what we look at and what information we gather in order to fulfill federal government contracts. Everything that you need, it's going to be in here in this documentation. So you can see that there is a site visit scheduled, and this site visit, we have to, it says here, all attendees must email the point of contact no later than May 24th. So we have to let them know that who is going to be coming out to the site visit to make sure that they have the information, because this looks like it's going to be a restricted area. So they need to know who's going to access the point or not. So all the information, again, it's straightforward. And this is what we teach inside of our upcoming workshop. This is what we teach inside of our community on a day-to-day basis. We teach individuals who are new to federal government contracting, or even those that are seasoned, who have been in this space for a while, but they need an actual blueprint, a plan that they can overlay out on top of their existing business, so they can understand how it is to be able to exercise and execute on federal government contracting. So if you want to know, again, down in the description, we have our workshop coming up. You can register for our workshop so you can learn our system on what it will take to get into this space, to be able to read, comprehend, and find these federal government contracts. So we have designed a systematic process for you called the flow. And our flow, if you follow the instructions, if you follow our blueprint, you can be able to get in here and land a federal government contract by simply understanding how to find federal government contracts, find out what the need of the federal government is, and then be able to read and comprehend what it is the federal government is asking for, so you can be able to deliver that. And once you understand that process, then the sky's the limit for you on how much or how many federal government contracts you can go after, you can be able to seek and obtain. So remember, our workshop starts this Wednesday. This Wednesday, if you look down in the description or in the bio, you will see how you could register for a workshop so you can learn our blueprint on how we teach federal government contracting to anyone, the middleman strategy for you to execute. All right. So make sure and like and follow, subscribe to as well. Share this information too as well with someone that's interested in federal government contracting. We are going to be coming live every single week. So if you have questions, if you could always send me solicitations too as well. If you want to show how we review and how we break down, so we could understand what it is the federal government is asking for, so you can be more comfortable going after these solicitation and get an understanding of how the federal government provides their information. All right. So listen, make sure like, follow, and subscribe to as well. We come on live every single week, as I mentioned, so you can be able to have the information, so you can be able to actually take action. All right. Listen, I'll see you on the next one, man. Coach is out.